With Valve dropping what is possibly one of the biggest updates in the past 3 months for investing, there's a lot you need to be doing right now to stay ahead of everyone else. Now the first of that comes with buying in. Now if we want to talk specifically about rare cases, we're starting to see a very interesting trend develop, and that's the fact that these cheaper rare cases that we commonly refer to as being a little bit more volatile but also a little bit more profitable have started to increase. However, the older rare cases, these ones right here, have not yet started increasing, developing a very strong opportunity to potentially pick up some cases at this pre-hype level.
SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins, with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options, and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description.
Now whether you're looking to invest into rare cases or skins, which we're going to talk about later in the video, the truth is I think now is probably going to be the most optimal time to invest, and that's for a couple different reasons. If we're talking about cases specifically, although they're up 15-20%, some of these cheaper rare cases, the truth is they're probably not going to get any cheaper from this moment, or at least not significantly cheaper that I would personally wait. If we want to look at unboxing numbers, they've been very consistent and very strong, especially for a down period. You know that, we've mentioned that. Talking about some of these older cases, which the ones we were talking about didn't really move but are still good investments, like your Revolver, your Spectrum, your Gammas, a lot of these are starting to run lower on supply, especially the Revolver, which we estimate only has maybe potentially 2.5 million cases out there. We don't know exactly, but the truth is there's not a ton of these cases available, and once people start unboxing these at mass amounts like we saw previously, the truth is they could be gone relatively quick or get really expensive relatively quick, and I don't think waiting, at least at this point, is probably going to be in the best interest for you as an investor. Now talking about the Paris Hollows, it's also been a very interesting story. The Legends Capsule is one we're going to talk about in a quick second, but otherwise we saw a very small pullback for a lot of the Paris Hollows when we saw the CS2 get mass pushed out. However, we've also seen a lot of these Hollows continue to grow past that, potentially reaching some all-time high. Look at the Gamer Legion Hollow. This thing is almost $10 at this point, which is an absolutely massive amount of money for not only a Hollow, but not even the most expensive Hollow out there. This one is not even close to being one of the top Hollows in the current price it has. However, the one that has been absolutely blowing me away the past couple of days is the Legends Capsule Hollows. Now if we want to look at all of these Hollows right here, you might notice a very interesting trend among them. And that's the fact that in the past 30 days, 0 Legends Hollows have gone down in price. That is completely different from the other two capsules where we had some of them that went down. These ones are not even like that. All of them are up, and some of them are up quite significantly, like your Furia, your Fnatic, and a lot of other ones are still sitting at some pretty okay growth. On average, we've seen a 20% growth in this area, pushing the average Hollow from this capsule to over $5, putting it at an ROI of 103%. This is just absolutely insane. The fact that the Legends Capsule has been the one that has been the least ROI throughout the entirety of these main three, and now the fact that it's at the #1 position shows that the Paris capsules are theoretically just ready to explode if we see them removed relatively recently, and the fact that all of the ROIs are actually really high at this point shows that the sticker demand is so high that if Paris does end up getting removed in the very near future, in my opinion, it's got a very strong potential as of yet. In my opinion, I think this is just a market hype and the first of many, and we can tell it's a hype by looking at what specifically went up. Look at the AK-47 slate year long right here. Obviously not something you should be investing into. However, if we want to look at the 5-day of it, you can see it's up a quite decent amount. This is an actively dropping case, and it's a skin inside of it. We can also look at the AK-47 Ice Cold. Obviously, same story here. Looks really bad in the year long. 5-day is looking quite nice. This just shows that people are just buying up whatever they think looks good right now, which is exactly what happens when we see a hype around this game, and this is only the first of many to come, at least in my opinion. However, it's not just those type of skins that's going up. A lot of the general market skins are going up a very significant amount in the $10 to maybe $25 range. Have started to see some pretty significant growth. We can look at a lot of them like the M4 Decimator and the M4 Emperor. Both of those are pretty iconic skins, but also not too expensive, and a lot of people are starting to flock to that. I can tell you anecdotally, a lot of the people I know that haven't played CS in a while are coming back into the game now that they got the beta, and they're spending maybe maybe 50 to 100 bucks on 4 or 5 different skins. A lot of people are coming back into the game, and I don't necessarily think these are going to be the perfect investment opportunity. However, if you're looking to pick up some of these skins as potential play skins, I think now is definitely going to be a more beneficial time than waiting for a later price. We can look at a lot of these skins and see that they went up quite significantly when we saw the hype about 4 or 5 months ago, and they are very plausibly going to increase in price from this point rather than decrease. Now, the one area that's been exploding inside of the skins market much more than the rest is going to be those filler skins. I'm not going to dwell on this point too long. I will say the acid fade is up significantly more from the rest of them. That's because inside of CS2 it still has that green scope, which a lot of people are looking at, but overall a lot of the filler skins are up potentially 25 to 50%, which is a very strong growth, and even down to the light blue we can still see that there's been a decent amount of growth there. And I would say if you're looking to get into this area, once again, I would not wait too long. Now, we've mentioned time and time again about buying in today. However, there's one thing you really need to make sure you avoid doing, and that's actually going for items that are too expensive if you're trying to go ahead and increase your money. That's because we can look at the AK-47 Bloodsport right here. We've mentioned a lot of AKs today, and a lot of them have gone up and seen maybe 15 to 20% increases in price. Nothing crazy, but also not anything to just scoff at. And when we look at the Bloodsport right here and any other high tier AK, we can see the fact is they are not moving at all. That's because a lot of these people that are coming into the game are not looking to drop $100 on one singular skin. Instead, they're looking to maybe spend $100 across maybe 4 or 5 skins, like I mentioned anecdotally earlier. And that's a very important thing, is the barrier to entry for a lot of these new players is not going to be very high. We can also see this with this graph right here, as the Revolution case skins have actually gone up maybe 10 to 15%, while the case has gone down maybe 10 to 15%. These aren't super expensive skins, but there's some decent looking skins, and they're not overly expensive, which what are people exactly looking for? My suggestion for you is to look for some of those cheaper items that have a lot of potential. But even when we're talking about cases themselves, we can see that a lot of people went for those cheaper rare cases rather than the ones that are a little bit more stable and a little bit more expensive. However, getting to what the title is saying, what should you specifically do right now? Well, in my opinion, I think the worst thing you can do right now is go ahead and sell off a lot of your investments. The truth is, a lot of these investments are still down from their all-time highs, and even though the hype has started to come back a little bit, I still think they're at price points that are not very advantageous for you as a seller, and rather very advantageous for you as a buyer, which I think is definitely a stronger possibility as to what you should do right now. Now, what I don't think you should do is go ahead and just go out and start buying things because I said to buy. But if you're looking and you're sitting on the sidelines, you got some money, you're looking at potentially some rare cases, or you want to trade out some of your active duty cases for some rare cases, I think now is going to be a little bit more of an advantageous time to do that rather than holding off for another couple weeks. Although it definitely is not going to get any cheaper for some of these rare cases, I don't know if they're necessarily going to explode in price to the fact that you have to invest into them now. It's just that they've been on a very consistent uptrend when we're looking at the past couple of months, and when we look at unboxing numbers and everything that supports this data, the truth is it's probably not going to change that trajectory anytime soon. It's only going to improve that trajectory when we see CS2 release and a lot more interest come back into this area, which we've mentioned. That's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.